on into the semifinals to play the Russia-Estonia winner. We're at the Donkong College Gymnasium for the 28th Summer World University Games. The United States taking on Lithuania for the right to move on to the semifinals. Along with Kevin Lehman, I'm Danny Lee. Team USA being led by Wayne Selden Jr., the leading scorer in the tournament at over 19 points per game, taking on a Lithuanian team which dispensed of Australia the other day and which was a veritable elimination game to get into the quarterfinals. Lithuania lost to Australia in Kazan 2 years ago in the quarterfinals, beating them in pool play this year. Now on to the quarterfinals. U.S. and Lithuania, the top two scoring and shooting teams coming into this tournament, Kevin. And this should be a pretty good battle here down on the floor in Donkong.
Well, if you go down the stat lines, they're almost identical. Both teams averaging in the mid-80s. But look for this to be more of a defensive battle. Wayne Selden Jr. has been a nightmare matchup for opponents throughout this tournament. But one of the keys, Danny, will be the guard play of Team USA, as Nick Moore and Frank Mason are going to have to log a lot of minutes. The Lithuanian guards are bigger, as we've seen many times in this tournament. Gives them a little advantage to see over the top. Also, Team USA has to guard the side ball screen.
Well, jumping in mid-court will be Egidijus Mockevičius, who plays at Evansville. 30 double-doubles the last 2 years, 20 this past year for Evansville, all Missouri Valley Conference first team, all defensive team. The U.S. wins the tip. Ellis, the first shot over the hoop, but Selden on the weak side with the rebound.
Well, Selden has been like a Swiss Army knife in this tournament. He has done a little bit of everything for Kansas.
Nice drop-off pass, Ellis to Selden, and Selden gets the accounts going early. One thing that Lithuania head coach Dainius Adomaitis talked about is Selden is going to get his points. Question is, can Lithuania limit the production from the other guys? That will be a key here today.
Well, a new set play from Bill Self to start that with that high post and then a back cut. Basket, easy basket for Selden.
Nick Moore jammed up at midcourt and the foul committed against Kovietis. Now, one of the storylines in this game for Lithuania is their leading scorer, Rokas Giedritis, is not in the starting lineup today. It's the first time he's not started in the first 6 games. Had come in at 14.5 points per game. So along with Taralis, the two leading scorers, they'll be coming off the bench for Lithuania in this one.
That'll give Lithuania some real pop off the bench. Those two players are extremely efficient. Giedritis, an 80, 50, 40 guys. He's 80% from the free throw line, 50 from the 2, and 40 from the 3.
Ellis has missed his first 2 shots without drawing iron, and Bill Self talked about how he hopes that his senior big man can come on hopefully beginning today with the quarterfinals on tap and perhaps the semis with a U.S. win.
Now, Mockevičius on that last play, he's got a hurt ankle. You see the top of the keys limping around. The senior-to-be from Evansville Purple Aces may be hurt.
Oh, nice move from Dombrowskis to scoop it in around Ellis, and it looks like Lithuania is going to make a quick trigger substitution as Mockevičius will come out, and Rolandas Jakstas will take his spot number 14.
Well, that's a big blow, and you see this little spin drive. This young man is extremely talented. Number 4, Dombrowskis, but that'll be a big blow now if Mockevičius is out. In the CIT championship game for Evansville, he had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks.
Ellis grabs it right over the top and lays it in. So the United States certainly going to Ellis early. 3 shots in the first minute 40 here from South Korea.
Well, Perry Ellis, the first team all Big 12 player, has had an okay tournament so far, but not a breakout game. Team USA needs that from Perry Ellis tonight.
Kovietis, 3-pointer, rims out. There's Mason thundering down the floor for his first 2.
You must stop the ball at the point of attack, especially if Frank Mason III has it in his hands. He takes it right down Main Street.
14-point per game average for Mason coming in. Kovietis eyes the 3, driving on Ellis. And we'll get 2 shots at the line, all expenses paid on the trip to the charity stripe. Foul by Mickelson.
And Mason blows right by the defender, gets to the window and scores.
Kovietis now a perfect 5 of 5 at the line at these games. Plays for club team Juventus which is the team that head coach Dainis Adomaitis coached last season, now with Neptūnas in the Lithuanian Professional League.
Now, if Moskasevicius is out, this is going to be a much smaller front line for Team Lithuania.
Selden on the move, whips it to Moore. 2.5 minutes gone by in the quarterfinals. U.S. 6, Lithuania 4. Mason all alone triggers the 3. And he buries it. He's got 5 points.
Frank Mason, day of rest. Got to be able to sit out the last quarter against the Switzerland team. He's got fresh legs.
Lekavicius not there with the runner, and the rebound taken by Ellis. Here comes Moore. Ellis on the move against Juštas. Turnaround jumper and the fallback, baby, that'd make Dick Barnett happy. Ellis with 4 points. Fans loving it early as the U.S. has raced out to a 7-point lead.
All right, Ellis with 4 points and the assist on that opening backdoor cut. He's got his game face on today. He laced him up, Danny.
Rolandas Juštas, the comeback near side to Kulvietis, airs out the pass, too tall for Edgaras Ulanovas, and Lithuania with the turnover. And Lithuania now with a couple of substitutions. Rokas Giedraitis, the leading scorer, along with Donatas Taralis, the second leading scorer, come in. Part of the game plan, perhaps, for Dainis Adomaitis. However, Kevin, not counting on Egidius Mockevicius in going out with an early injury.
Yeah, it will change their defensive strategy and how they're going to match up Lithuania without their big man, Mockevicius, in this game.
More long jumper. Here comes Dombrauskas. On the move is Juštas around the U.S. defense. What a play. Very athletic Lithuanian team, as we documented in the opener. A lot of long length, and now a takeaway. On the move comes Taralis. Drops it off, and foul going up. However, it was on the pass off, so it'll be ball out of bounds.
Well, right there you see their two most productive offensive players, and Taralis and Giedraitis. Unselfish play, but Selden makes the foul. Now it's very important that the guards for USA, Moore and Mason, do not pick up early cheap fouls. That's been a concern for Bill Self. They've gotten early fouls and they've had to play a little more tentative, especially toward the end of the second quarter.
Lekavicius over Ellis. 19-footer comes up short. 11-6, U.S. on top. Here comes Selden running the show.
Hunter Mickelson with another rebound. He's an emerging big man for Team USA.
Mason rolls it around to Ellis, and it just falls off the iron. Rebound to Lekavicius. 3-on-2 for Lithuania. On the move to the hoop is Giedraitis, taken away by Moore, but Juštas gets it right in front of Ellis, and a foul against the senior-to-be for Team USA.
So Coach Adomaitis talked about he was a defensive coach, and he was not that happy with the fact they scored well over 80 points a game, but great team speed by this team from Lithuania as you see Perry Ellis pick up his first.
Giedraitis inbounding the ball from Lietuvos. He's a club teammate of Dombrauskas.
Now this is exactly what Bill Self was concerned about. Nick Moore picks up a foul. It's on a simple dribble drive. He does a bump. Not a lot of depth in the backcourt as far as ball handlers for this Team USA.
Moore in the win over Brazil did foul out. He's found himself in trouble here a couple of times. Long shot from the corner for Giedraitis. Mickelson corrals the rebound. Here comes Mason. Nice spin move to Moore. Mickelson, a step back jumper from the top of the key, and he's able to nail it. And Mickelson, Bill Self talked about how much of a pleasure it's been to have his services this World University games. He has been scoring, he's been chasing down balls, he's been rebounding, and has been, along with Selden, two of the notable players for the U.S. effort.
Well, a breakout game for Hunter Mickelson as he had 14 points, 7 rebounds in that battle against Serbia.
U.S. back on top by 7. Mason helping to force the turnover. Lekavicius comes out, and Vytenis Čižauskis, who was the leading scorer for Team Lithuania at the last World University games, comes in.
You see Team USA defending this side ball screen. They're going to try and ice it and keep the ball on one side of the court. Great play by Frank Mason with quick hands.
Starting five for Team USA unchanged. Lithuania making a number of substitutions here in the first 5.5 minutes. Mason head fake. Selden fires the three, and he connects from deep. So the U.S. with a couple of three-point shots, and now leading by 10, having scored 16 of the first 22. Selden and Mason, the backcourt attack with 5 for the U.S. It's been the Wayne Selden Jr. show in Gwangju, South Korea for about a week and a half. 5 points as the co-leader for Team USA and the tournament leader at 19 points per game, and the co-team leader over 6 rebounds a game for the U.S. Jayhawks for Lithuania finding themselves in an early double-digit hole. Dombrowskis head fake. Nice move.
Gerald Vick, the freshman, in for Team USA.
Mason.
Bill Self, a little half-court trap out of that timeout to disrupt Lithuania.
Yakstas with the block on Ellis, and Lithuania with the defensive performance there to get the ball back. On the near side, Giedraitis drops it off to Dombrowskis out of the corner. Yeah, Lithuania, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the tournament at 38%, number 2, and that's a way to cut the lead quickly down from 10 to 5. Vick the entry to Ellis. Mickelson again.
Oh, is his confidence level. This continues to rise for the redshirt senior out of Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Couple of shots from the top of the key from 20 to give him 4. Nice ball movement, and underneath Giedraitis misses, but Yakstas with the putback.
Great start by Team USA, but now they've lost a man in transition, and that time allowed the dribble drive and the putback.
Ellis, boy, that's the start that Bill Self wanted from his big man, the senior for the University of Kansas, with 7 points here in the first quarter.
Well, both coaches talked about this being a defensive battle. Thought the score would be in the 60s. Much higher pace than that right now, Danny, as these teams have been extremely efficient at the offensive end.
On the move is Jayhawks. Bounces back behind the arc. Thinking about his Taralis. Step back over Mason. Well off the mark, and Selden grabs it. Through the defense. And foul. Wow, the burst of speed. And you and I were talking going into this game. Not a whole lot of countries at the World University Games, if anybody, has the physical attributes to match Wayne Selden's.
Swiss Army knife. He is so versatile, and you see a common theme here by these European teams is the foul at half court if there is a fast break situation, as 3 uniforms in green reached in to commit the foul on Wayne Selden Jr.
Dainius Adomaitis, the Lithuania head coach, told us, he said that Selden's going to get his points. The question is, can we limit the other guys? Well, so far, you've got Mason with 5 along with Selden, and 7 points for Perry Ellis. U.S. by 8. On the move to the hoop is Yakstas. And boy, Lithuania not the least bit shy about driving right into the teeth of the beast here.
A little pick and pop move, and Hunter Mickelson had to help on the screen and recovered late. Blow by, dribble drive by Lithuania.
Selden bowls right into the defender, and an offensive foul with Yakstas drawing the foul against Selden. And something of note, that's his second foul.
There's some guts by Yakstas as he goes down. The fullback Selden with the shoulder down commits the crime.
Selden giving away 3 inches on that matchup. Nevertheless, Lithuania forcing the turnover, and Selden, concerning note, on the sideline, his second foul. As Bill Self, certainly a concerning note. We talked about Mason and Moore with their foul trouble in recent days, but now it's Selden, the leading scorer for this tournament in Team USA. He's out of the game and replaced on the floor by Jamari Traylor.
Put a little more emphasis on the freshman, Gerald Vick. If Selden has to sit the rest of this half or much of it with 2 fouls.
Carlton Bragg also in, replacing Mickelson for the United States. Lithuania ball. They've got in the corner with Paulius Dombrowskis. In the corner, Giedraitis, foot on the line though, buries the 2-point shot, and the leading scorer for Lithuania in the books. The Lithuanians have cut it to 4. Here in this quarterfinal matchup, the winner moves on to play the Russia-Estonia winner in the semis. Mason thrown away, taken by Giadritis on Vic. Blocked from behind by Trailer, but a foul and 2 shots for Giadritis.
Jamari Trailer, one of the top shot blockers in the Big 12 last season. Chases it down and tries to pin it on the glass. But it gets a little bit of the body, and it puts Giadritis on the free throw line. Pulls the string and leaves that one short. That's a very rare miss.
Giadritis, who plays for club team Lietuvos Rytas, same club as Paulius Dombrauskas, and also the club team of Jonas Valanciunas, who plays for the Toronto Raptors, but once played there. Makes the second of 2, and it's a 3-point game.
And Egidius Vuskakovicius back in the lineup. They taped up his ankle. He is back in it. Let's see if he is favoring the ankle that he has a small twist on about the second possession of this game, the senior to be from Evansville University.
Mackiewicz, number 10 for Lithuania. Foul against Czyzhauskas. One of the 3 returners from the Kazan team for Lithuania is Landon Lucas, trying to work his way inside on the floor for Team USA with 54.1 seconds to go. Frank Mason, the old Big 12 second teamer, inbounding to Moore from Southern Methodist University. And Julian DeBose also on the floor for the U.S. Bragg, jump pass in the post. Lucas, nice play.
Phenomenal post-to-post pass by the freshman, Carlton Bragg Jr., the McDonald's All-American, will be on this University of Kansas team next year. He has played really well in this tournament.
Here's Czyzhauskas, and a reach in against Bragg will send Lithuania to the foul line as Lithuania sees the United States all out of fouls.
Now again, in international play, when you reach the 5th foul in a quarter, it's automatic 2 shots. So Lithuania with just 27 seconds left, but they will have 2 shots. There are no 1-on-1s in international play.
Dombrauskas out, and Tomas Dimsha comes in. So here's Vytenis Czyzhauskas, 6 points, 2 rebounds per game. Misses on the free throw, had made both of his free throws prior. Led the team in Kazan with an 11-point per game average, shooting 56% from the floor. Tipped around, and he misses them both. Lucas tipping it to Moore, and the U.S. just about a half-second difference between the game and shot clock. Leading by 5, they led by as many as 10 in this one.
The decision for Bill Self is he going to bring Wayne Selden back here in the second quarter with 2 fouls.
Mason slips it off to Bragg from 18. Rolls off the rim. Rebound goes to Yakstas. Fires it down the length of the floor just wide. And that's how the first quarter comes to an end. The U.S. had a double-figure lead. Lithuania came back. They lead by 5 going to the second. We begin play here in the second quarter. The United States leading 23-18. Lithuania basketball, and throwing it away, Czyzhauskas. Mason is lassoed by Tomas Dimsha, who's whistled for his first foul. The winner of this game moves on to the semifinals. The U.S. has not been there since they won the bronze in Serbia in 2009. Lithuania was there in 2011 when they won the bronze. They did win a World University Games title back in 2007 over Serbia.
Well, Frank Mason has been exceptionally open court. This crossover dribble and blow-by moves, you've seen Lithuania teams and other teams foul him as he's able to get an edge on the defender. We don't see that much out of these international teams. They have more ball movement and player movement. Frank Mason is a tough matchup.
Egidius Mackiewicz with the block inside. 64 blocks for Evansville University as a freshman, which is the most at the school in over 2 decades when he did that. Here he connects the block there, and Bragg shows no love for the Lithuanians. Here's Mason, and he rolls it in on transition to give him 7. Big stories from the first period for the United States. Selden's foul trouble, the quick start for Perry Ellis.
Frank Mason has been outstanding. Selden still on the bench here in the second quarter with 2 fouls as Bill Self elects to sit him as long as he has a comfortable lead.
Takeaway for DeBose. U.S. by 7. Moore leans into the 3.
Well, Danny, step-in threes are highly efficient. Nick Moore stepping in transition. Nothing but bottom.
U.S. by 10. Welcome back to South Korea. Nick Moore with the three-pointer to put the United States up by 10. U.S. being led by Mason and Ellis, 7. Paulius Dombrauskis for Lithuania also with 7 to lead their scoring efforts as they've seen the United States reestablish that 10-point lead with 5 straight here in the second period.
And Team USA has used 5 post players already in this game as he's got the freshman Carlton Bragg in along with Landon Lucas.
Saulius Kulvietis misses long on the 3, and the rebound taken by the U.S. Here comes Mason, knocked away by Lekavicius, who plays with club team Žalgiris, which is the top club team in Lithuania, 20-time champs. Also the club team of Arvydas Sabonis, Basketball Hall of Famer, who played in the NBA for a number of years toward the end of his career. And the top team in Lithuania, one of the top in Europe.
And Egidijus Muskovic already has finished up a management degree in 3 years at Evansville, coming back his 4th year for the Purple Aces to pick up a 2nd degree in finance.
Mason falls down. Lekavicius, he's got Giadritis on the right around Moore and misses the layup. Bragg rebound taken away and put back in by Giadritis.
Well, another style of play by international basketball is the pressure, the defensive rebounder. Carlton Bragg brought the ball down, had it stripped. We've seen that many times throughout this tournament. Got to be strong with the basketball on the defensive glass.
Lucas right of the lane. It was Dombrauskis that helped to create the turnover in the backcourt on the other end. Bragg tied up with Kulvietis. Nevertheless, it goes with Lithuania, Lekavicius. The Lithuanians down by 8.
Well, almost a takedown move on Carlton Bragg as the arm went over the shoulder. He was held down, could not get to the rebound.
Kulvietis pushed into the corner. Entry pass to Motskevicius from Evansville University. The scoop not there. Tip back, though, and misses again. Another offensive rebound for Lithuania. Not the horn. Giadritis. And a shot clock violation will repeat for you as we've been talking about. Dinas Adamaitis wanted the referees to count that one as hitting the rim, but it did not. And it's an 8-point U.S. lead here in the second. Lithuania taking on the United States in a quarterfinal, the first of 4 quarterfinals today. Wayne Selden Jr., who picked up 2 first-quarter fouls, back in for the USA, which also sends back on Perry Ellis, who's the co-leading scorer for the United States, up by 8, and they've led by 10 in 2 different junctures in this game. And
Hunter Mickelson back in. This is the original starting lineup for Team USA as they're facing a zone defense by Lithuania.
Selden backing off of Giadritis. Nice pass to Ellis. Well, Kevin, the U.S. really exploiting inside against Lithuania today.
Well, Selden, as versatile as baking soda, we've seen him score, we've seen him pass, we've seen him defend, we've seen him rebound. I'm the president of his fan club right now, Wayne Selden Jr.
In the corner, Giadritis. Lob ahead, Mason to Mickelson.
Mickelson has shown a great set of mitts throughout this tournament. He can catch on the run, active on the offensive glass. That was a phenomenal catch.
Boy, Dombrauskis is showing his speed right now, blowing by all comers. 9 points to lead all scorers for Lithuania, but the U.S. leads by 10, nearing the halfway point of the second quarter. Ellis. Mason against Dombrauskis on the switch off. He gets Kulvietis. Ellis losing the ball, but it was tipped by Dombrauskis. And back in comes one of the starters, Edgaras Ulanovas for Lithuania.
Well, Ellis got the mismatch on the block. Dombrauskis is able to away, but look at this catch by Hunter Mickelson as the big man runs the floor. We reward the big man, Frank Mason. A little helium underneath that pass. and Mickelson finishes.
Three-pointer for Selden comes up long. Selden came into the game shooting 42% from three-point range, but even more staggering, talk about his athleticism, he came in leading the tournament at 73% inside the arc. Kulvietis, Lithuania, a little shy about shooting the three. Blocked by Mickelson going up, but fouled as well, and 2 shots and a date with the line for Kulvietis.
You can see the style of play by the Europeans. There's 4 players outside the three-point line as Kulvietis gets one across the chin by Perry Ellis. Opens up the lane for driving. It really puts some pressure on this Team USA defense because they have the stretch 4. We mentioned KU's bigs, other than Perry Ellis, do not have the range outside the three-point line.
Kulvietis back to the stripe. He was 4 of 4 at the beginning of the day, missed his previous 2, but now makes the free throw to give him 3 points. Plays for club team Juventus in the LKL, the Lithuanian Professional League. Ball comes off the rim. Lucas grabs it, and the U.S. lead is 9. Here's Moore running up alongside Lucas, Traylor, Selden, and DeBose. They're 5 on the floor. Moore scanning the scene, puts it on the deck to Lucas. 5 on the shot clock. Selden weaving his way through traffic, and will go to the line for 2 on the foul by Ulanovas.
It's a case of Wayne Selden making something out of nothing. Shot clock going down, attacks the rim, draws the foul, and now at the free throw line, the junior from Roxbury, Massachusetts, by way of University of Kansas.
Selden 10 of 16 from the line, and we've seen him break free and score points in a bunch in this tournament. Had 2 first quarter fouls with 5 points, a 3-point make here today.
And Wayne talked about his leadership role on this team after that victory over Serbia, that going into his junior year, he felt he has to step up and be a leader. We've seen that time and time again in this tournament.
These are the guys that are chomping at the bit to play so many games in so few days, 8 games in 10 days. A lot of the players comparing it to the Big 12 tournament, and Selden was Big 12 all-tourney this past season. On a move to the hoop, Kulvietis fouled, and more free throws for the Lithuanians.
And Selden takes a quick look at the official as he is afraid that foul was going to be called on him, but it's given to Traylor.
Second foul on Traylor as well. So Kulvietis right back to the line. Member of the Lithuanian under-20 national team. He had a 12-point per game average in the 2010 Euros. 3 double-doubles for that squad.
Selden with a quick look at that official. He was really concerned that that was going to be his 3rd. He has to play the rest of this half, Wayne Selden, number 1, without picking up a 3rd foul. And Frank Mason back in after a short rest.
Moore cross court to Mason against Paulius Dombrauskas. In the corner, Selden running out of options. 7 on the shot clock. That shot clock, 24 seconds in international play, goes by quick. Stripped from behind by Yakstas. U.S. ball with only 3 on the shot clock, and Lithuania voicing their protest to referee Nicolas Maistre of France, saying that it should be their ball, but it will stay with the U.S.
And Frank Mason asking for the foul as he was clotheslined across the chest.
Moore off balance 3 in the corner, not there. Rebound taken by Kulvietis. Dombrauskas, Ulanovas, Yakstas, and the man with the ball coming up the floor, Chizauskis. Or make that actually Lekavicius is number 43 for Lithuania. Shot long. And the U.S. ball with 8 points. Their lead, they've led throughout. Selden. Nearly traveled. Lucas underneath, though, muscles his way in, draws the foul. And let's see, a whistle blows, and the referee now counseling head coach Dinas Adamaitis, perhaps just warning the bench. So a 10-point game in favor of the United States once again.
Well, that play, Wayne Selden made something out of nothing as he exerts his strength to make a play.
On the near side, here's Lekavicius. Comes it off to Jayhawks. Around the screen comes Dombrowskis against Ellis. Step back three for Dombrowskis, and he nails it, having a very good shooting half with 12 points.
Well, Coach Automitis talked about that young man, number 4, and how good he is.
Yeah, he's had the enviable task here today of guarding Selden for a large part of the half. 2 3-point shots for him. Ellis short on the turnaround. Here comes Dombrowskis, 4-on-3. Lithuania blows by, stripped by Ellis, or Selden rather, and it will go to the United States. So Selden getting his hand right in the lane there and stripping Dombrowskis to give the United States the ball right back.
Dombrowskis got caught in the block, but he gets the rebound and comes out of there, and great play. Looks like Wayne Selden may have tipped it off of Dombrowskis' foot. Possession, Team USA.
Ellis and Lekavicius. Moore, another 3. He rises the ladder. Can't get it to go, and Lekavicius gets the batted rebound with 2.5 minutes to go. The U.S. up 35-28. And it's Lekavicius, one of the 6 guys on the roster for Žalgiris, losing the ball, and then Moore fouled as he's sent to the hardwood.
Well, the senior from Southern Methodist University, Nick Moore, the great steal, quick hands. Picks it up, and then, as we see often, the foul at half court to stop the breakaway.
And Kevin, one of the other factors we have yet to talk about throughout the week here is just the temperature inside here in the stadium. It's really hot outside. In fact, Bill Self told us before today's game, he said the heat index outside was 96. I wasn't sure if he was talking about inside here. We're on high here where there's not much ventilation. Down on the floor, very hot, very humid, and that should perhaps play a role down the stretch here. This might be one of the hottest days we've had here in South Korea.
No question. It's been humid most of our time here, but today was especially stifling. And I'm not sure in the athletic complex if they have air conditioning in those units or not. I would hope so.
Selden losing his balance, still getting to the hoop, and foul going up by Giedraitis, so he'll have 2 more cracks at it from the line. And they're actually going to give the foul to Kulvietis. Sorry, Kevin.
Again, you see the power and strength of Wayne Selden and the versatility to switch the ball to his left hand.
Wayne Selden Jr. shooting 60% coming into the game from the floor. Misses the free throw, though. Has made only one of his 3 on the day. 11 for 19 for the tournament. A 21-point game against Serbia, 16 against Switzerland, 23 against Brazil. Has had some big games in South Korea to get the United States through this point.
And against Serbia, he hits the free throw with 12 seconds left for the winning margin in that game as Team USA won 66-65. And Wayne Selden hit a huge 3 also in the last minute of the game against Serbia.
Ellis chasing down the rebound and earning the United States another possession despite the 2 free throws missed. Here's Mason. He'll take another shot at a 3. This one's long. Rebound to Mockevicius.
Yeah, Mockevicius, one of the top rebounders in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Mason, a track meet, and he's up ahead of everyone and gets fouled. 9 points for Mason, and not a foul that Salias Kulvietis probably wanted to take, but it will give the United States an opportunity to get back on top by double figures. And Lithuania has been trying to play catch-up all game long, and the U.S. with a response, especially on the defensive end.
Well, Mason with quick hands, and he was as tired as Bill Self had seen one of his players in the game against Serbia. Got some rest 2 days ago in the game against the Swiss where he sat the last quarter and a half. And now a day off before this game, so Frank Mason III has fresh legs.
The Lithuania getting the ball, a whistle just for the substitution, no foul called there. And Mockevicius and Bragg jockeying for position in the post. It'll be the second foul on Bragg, so he, Traylor, and Mickelson, along with Selden, each with 2 fouls. This is Giedraitis, a quiet first half. 6 points, but came in as the leading scorer. Misfires on the shot. Minute 15 to go. U.S. by 9. They've led by as many as 12. Lithuania has yet to lead in this one. Ellis, the outlet to Mason. The winner will play the Russia-Estonia winner in the semifinals tomorrow. Drops it off. Nice pass more to Bragg, who gets fouled with just 3 seconds on the shot clock, no less.
It's a good look at Egidius, the Big E from Evansville, as he is going to take a seat on the bench for the Lithuanian team.
Mentioned those 20 double-doubles. That was the Evansville Division I record. It was 4th in the nation this past season.
And he was 4th in Player of the Year voting in the Missouri Valley Conference behind Seth Tuttle, who won the award. And of course, Ron Baker and Fred Van Fleet, who were just named to the Pan American team.
And Tuttle with the Miami Heat Summer League team trying to make an NBA roster. And Bill Self's squad, he certainly knows a lot about guys getting drafted into the NBA. Had another one this past draft with Kelly Oubre Jr. getting drafted and then traded from Atlanta to Washington. 50 seconds to go. The U.S. still up by 9 points, having a tough time at the free throw line at this point. Giadritis squirts through the hands of Ulanovas.
Yes, USA has left some points on the court here by not converting free throws.
Rebound taken by Bragg, thrown away, and Giadritis sneaks in there to put it in. And that gives him 8. And the United States, they want to use one of their 2 timeouts. Got to use them or lose them because they do not carry over. The lead is down to 7. Lithuania hanging tough. Lithuania, coached by Dainius Adamaitis, who coached the team in Kazan, Russia 2 years ago that finished 5th place. Rokas Giadritis with 8 points, second on the squad behind Paulius Dambrauskas, 12. And right now, Lithuania, -4 in the turnover department. The U.S. has continued to be scintillating on the floor, 52% field goal shooting.
We've got some easy basket. And there's the set play that Bill Self drew up in the huddle. But Nick Moore misfires from the left corner.
Kansas Jayhawks, one of the 3 returning players on the roster from the World University Games team from 2 years ago. Defense by Moore. Here's Yakstas against Ellis. Outlet to Giadritis. Mason having a tough time with the rebound. Giadritis threw it over his head, but the clock will run out on this one. So the United States, they had as much as a 12-point lead in the half. They'll go to the halftime locker room up by 7. And certainly a lot for Dainius Adamaitis to talk about with his squad at the halfway point, which saw early Egidius Mackiewicz get hurt, come out of the game, brought in as reinforcements, the 2 top scorers on Team Lithuania coming off the bench in this one. And when we talked about going in that they wanted nobody else but other than Wayne Selden Jr. to score, that wasn't necessarily the case in the first half. Frank Mason had 9. Perry Ellis had 9. They got 6 from Selden, and that was the 3-headed attack that helped the United States to as much as a 12-point lead, but stands at 7 at the half, Kevin.
Now, Selden scored early and often, then had to take a seat with 2 fouls. But Frank Mason has picked up the pace. He's picked the pocket of the Lithuanian guards on numerous times and got some breakaway baskets. And fast start by both teams, but it slowed down in the second quarter as the defense got stiffer. We thought it might be in the 60s. It looks like it's heading that way, Danny.
Yeah, Bill Self, the U.S. head coach, Kansas head coach, talked to us and said, you can't look too much into the statistics. Obviously, there are teams in each group that skew the numbers a little bit. Lithuania, the #1 scoring team, in almost 87 a game coming in. The U.S. at 83 a game. He really expected this one to be in the 60s and 70s, and we really have what is shaping up to be a defensive duel between these two sides. The U.S. shot 50% in the first half, made those 4 3-point shots. Frank Mason had a couple of them. The rebounding advantage went to Lithuania. 10 turnovers for the Lithuanians. The U.S. had 8 steals, but look at that, 9 assists on the 16 shots for the USA, which they were able to get inside on the Lithuanians early.
Also the turnovers, they've laid some easy, especially with Frank Mason's quick hands and Nick Moore's quick hands have caused the Lithuanian guards to turn it over.
Well, 20 minutes separating the United States from their first semifinal appearance at the World University Games since 2007. And the U.S. fans also donning their Kansas colors as a team. 10 of the 12 players on the floor represented by the University of Kansas, trying to play their way into the semifinals, as we talked about. Russia and Estonia, the winner of those two, coming up on this floor right after this contest. They will determine the seeding for the semifinals.
It's been since 2005 since USA has won a gold in the World University Games, as Jay Wright coached that team to the gold medal. And Bo Ryan in 2009, retiring after this year from Wisconsin, took Team USA to a bronze in 2009.
Lithuania was a champion in 2007. It was Wayne Selden, as you talked about, getting going early. And then Paulius Dambrauskas had a big first half with 12 for Lithuania. Back with more at the half when we return. We are at halftime from Gwangju, South Korea at the Dongkong College Gymnasium. The United States and Lithuania in the first of 4 quarterfinal matchups here at the World University Games in men's basketball today. The United States with a 37-30 lead over Lithuania, led in scoring by Frank Mason and Perry Ellis with 9 points apiece, 6 points for Selden and Mikkelsen. Meanwhile, Lithuania with Paulius Dambrauskas leading the charge, 12 points, and Rokas Giedraitis with 7 points. When we return to South Korea, we'll bring you the rest of the second half right after this. Welcome back to Gwangju, South Korea. Bill Self's team went up by as many as 12 points in the first half of play. They currently lead by 7. Meanwhile, they're taking on Lithuania. One of the, I guess, vexing things for the United States was the play of Paulius Dambrauskas, who scored 12 in the first half and constantly took the U.S. defenders off the dribble.
Well, U.S. has done a great job on the other big scorer, Lewis, who's shooting 71% from the field, scoreless, but Dambrauskas with 12. They've got to find a way to slow him down. But here's a good thing for USA team. Frank Mason with no fouls in the first half, Nick Moore with only 1. Those two have had foul problems in earlier games. Bill Self talked about the importance of his 2 guards not picking up cheap fouls in the first half.
However, do take note that Selden and Mikkelsen each have 2 fouls, along with Traylor and Bragg. So we're about ready to start. Second half, U.S. starters unchanged. Moore, Mason, Selden, Ellis, Mikkelsen. Lithuania with Ulanovas, Kulvietis, along with Lekavičius, Giedraitis, and Matskevičius. They're starting 5 unchanged as well. Glad you can join us. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman with you. Quarterfinal matchup. Winner moves on to the semis to play for a medal beginning tomorrow, and the U.S. starts off the half with a turnover.
Well, Bill Self a little upset because they had a nice duck in play on the weak side by Ellis. Nick Moore misfired. And at the end of the half, they had a set 3-point play by Nick Moore, who missed. So opportunities for USA to build upon this lead, not taking advantage of it.
Here's Lukas Lekavičius. Lekavičius in the first half did not score, and that changes as he gets his first 2 of the game. Came in averaging almost 7 points per game. Lithuanian under 20 national in his career. Here comes Selden. Tipped and taken by Giedraitis. Second straight turnover, and then Moore comes in there, but Ulanovas, as the trailer, picks it up. Ball fake, Kulvietis knocks down the 3, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point game. A 2-point game, rather.
USA not able to match up in transition. Gives up the open triple. The turnovers have been a problem for Team USA. Lithuania has taken full advantage of USA's turnovers and turned them into points.
Ulanovas travels. So Lithuania with the first 5 here in the second half, forcing turnovers on the United States. And Bill Self's team now clinging to a 2-point lead.
Felt the momentum swing a little bit in the last minute of the second quarter toward Lithuania, and they continue that momentum here to start the second half.
Selden rises in the lane and ends the spurt for Lithuania. He's got 8 points today.
Well, much needed drink of water by Team USA. Wayne Selden scores after a bit of a dry spell.
Ulanovas, who was on the team in Kazan, goes to Lekavičius. He's been a national team invitee, but has yet to play for the Lithuanian senior national team. 3 on the shot clock. Ulanovas step inside the arc.
Well, excellent defensive stand by Team USA on that trip. Good communication, excellent recoveries.
Entry to Mikkelsen. Backing out Motskevicius. Mason back to Ellis. Blocked from behind by Ulanovas, and Motskevicius also there as well.
Now 4 green jerseys converge upon Perry Ellis as he tries to make a duck-in move. That was only 3 green jerseys. But Team USA using that familiar high-low look.
Long three for Selden.
Known by Bill Self and the University of Kansas.
Motskevicius tipped it right off of Mason, who was standing out of bounds. Here comes Lekavičius, the 5'11" guard against the 5'9" Moore for the U.S. Now matched up with Ellis on the mismatch and positioning in the post, and it's going to cost Moore a foul.
A ball screen. Team USA will switch when they have to. That time Moore caught on the bigger post, fighting around. We've seen it happen many times on these guards from Team USA, trying to get around the post player in front, and a foul called.
Dombrowskis did not start the second half, was one of the starters coming in, and a nice drop pass goes to Motskevicius, who came in averaging 11 a game but did not score in the first half. It's a 2-point game once more.
Motskevicius with his first points. He injured the ankle early, taped it up, came back in for Lithuania.
Mikkelsen battling with Motskevicius, help side defense, but it will stay with Team USA with 7:06 to play in the third period.
Great recovery by number 10, the young man from Evansville, Egidius Uskavicius.
2-time All-Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player First Team.
And Evansville returns all 5 starters from their team that won the CIT.
And Mason with the turnover. So the United States turning it over 4 times already in the half.
Been a little sloppy here to start the second half. Great energy to start the game by Team USA, but they have not been able to keep that pace up.
Lekavičius gets it back from Motskevicius. Kovietis, and a defensive stop for Mikkelsen. Stay with Team Lithuania with 11 on the shot clock. A look at Saulius Kovietis.
Mikkelsen sniffs out the play, but there is the fadeaway by Mason.
Dombrowskis put a full charge in the first half. The runner rims out. Motskevicius, who's also led the conference in the Missouri Valley and rebounding the last 2 years, can't corral that one. It's Mason with the three-pointer. That just rims out. Rebound taken by Rokas Skiadritis. Lekavičius on the switch off Dombrowskis for 3. Lithuania looking for its first lead of the night, but it came up long, and it will stay with the Lithuanians in the green and yellow uniforms against the U.S. The runner for Lekavičius, that falls off the back rim, and Ellis reels in the rebound. Selden from Moore, and gets bumped in the lane.
Open space. Wayne Selden is impossible to get stopped. Draws the foul. Strong upper body. 2 green jerseys converge to stop his penetration.
A couple of substitutions for Dionysius Adamaitis. Rolandas Yakstas in, as well as Donatas Taralis, who came in second leading scorer, 12 points per game, but did not score at all in the first half. And he had a 20-point game against France, where Lithuania held tough with the French, which ended up winning the group, going 5-0. But since then, Lithuania has won their last 4 coming in. Here's Ellis, misses the dunk, lost the handle on it. Selden throws it away.
Well, another missed opportunity by Team USA. But you gotta like the effort by both Ellis and Selden. As Ellis takes it up strong and tries to punch it through.
Giedraitis, and before the shot goes off, Moore sent to the hardwood, and an offensive foul will result in Lithuania turning it right back to the U.S.
Well, Nick Moore has taken some bumps and bruises. He stands in there strong and tall, picks up the offensive foul on Lithuania.
Talk about that French team taking on Brazil. They've got Will Yeget on the roster. Yeget played for Florida and Billy Donovan, especially in that Final Four team 2 years ago. Ball tipped out, and it will stay. Actually, it'll go to Lithuania. They're going to say last touch by the USA with 5:12 remaining here in the third period.
Well, some good looks by Team USA. A little dribble weave. Ellis loses the defender, open three, but misfires. It skips off the rim.
Lekavicius, the Yukstas. Back in the corner, tipped away from Giedraitis. It will stay with the Lithuanians. Yakstas and Dombrauskis joining Taralis, Lekavicius, and Giedraitis is the 5 for the Lithuanians. Coming off that win against Australia, which knocked them out of the quarterfinals last year. Giedraitis misses on the 3, but the save ball by Mikkelsen goes to Taralis, and Lithuania has possession. The referees are now debating. Now they'll reset the shot clock. They're going to say the United States reestablished position, in which case the shot clock resets to the full 24 and not just the 14, which usually happens in international rules on a missed shot recovered by the shooting team.
Well, smart play by Hunter Mikkelsen because he knew he couldn't grab the ball and threw it toward half court rather than saving it short where Lithuania could have scored off of it.
Dombrauskis poked away by Ellis. 6'3" point guard on his way to the hoop. Mason strips him and steals him, and Frank Mason III just rolls it in.
Boy, Frank Mason laced him up tight today. He has been excellent on defense.
11 points for Mason to lead all scorers for the U.S. Lithuania has not led in this game. 3-point shot for Giedraitis. Just rims out, and Moore grabs the rebound. And he's wrapped up by Lekavicius coming into the lane.
Again, you see the foul, European style, as they know they only have 3 team fouls on them here with just 4 minutes left in the quarter.
Landon Lucas has been involved in some physical action. We saw that against Serbia the other day.
And Landon Lucas clearing out some space. Opening up the fast break, but how about Frank Mason? Boy, has he been good today. Most of his points have come off of steals.
Lucas all alone and throws it down.
Yeah, right on cue. Mason with the killer crossover. Dishing the dime. Lucas with the punch through.
6 players for the U.S. have at least 6 points. Very balanced effort for Bill Self's team. Outlet Taralis. Shot rolls off from 15. All of a sudden, Lithuania going dry. Here's Yakstas with the rebound.
Well, Taralis has really struggled to find the net today.
Jayhawks, nice ball movement. Dombrauskis. That 3 doesn't fall. In the front court, Selden, the touch pass trying to get it to Bragg. Couldn't hang on, and it will go right back to the Lithuanians. U.S. by 6.
The freshman Bragg has given some good minutes to Team USA, but look at this touch pass by Frank Selden. That would have been completed. We would have seen it on Sports Center.
Lithuania basketball. And LeGerald Vick hanging out in the backcourt, a little mild backcourt pressure. Bill Self looking on as his team has led throughout as much as 12 points in the second quarter. It's currently at 6.
LeGerald Vick, the freshman out of Memphis, have given some good minutes to Team USA. He's really trying to improve his defense, and there he just picks up a cheap foul away from the basket. But again, only two team fouls on Team USA.
Vytenis Jayhawks, the captain of the squad, the leader on the floor for Lithuania. On the move goes to Dombrauskis. Tomas Dimsha, who's back out there. Defense by Selden. Moves it around to Dombrauskis, down the lane. Stripped by Mason. Batted out to Taralis. And still, Lithuania has missed their last 7 shots. Selden wrapped up, taken by Dimsha, and it's 4-on-1 as Taralis is taken off the dribble by Mason and wrapped up. Good foul for Mason to deny them the guaranteed 2.
And only Mason's first, so he has the opportunity to give up a foul. Taralis tries to get his first points of this game, coming in averaging for Lithuania 12 points a game. We mentioned 71% from the field, but he has misfired in all field goal attempts today.
Donatas Taralis came in averaging 12 points per game, has not scored here today. 14-17 at the line coming in. That's his first point. As we mentioned, plays for club team Žalgiris, which was the team with Arvydas Urbonas, and that he was a teammate with Darius Sangaila, who played in the NBA for 6 years, just retired. 4-point game USA.
Zone look by Lithuania.
Taralis nearly stripping the ball as Jayhawks, but he's going to be whistled for reaching in.
Well, Carlton Bragg bailed out on that play as he puts it on the deck, almost has his pocket pick, but this freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio is going to be exceptional for the University of Kansas. McDonald's All-American.
First foul for Taralis. And Miss Shek Diallo comes in as well, not a member of the World University Games team, being from Mali, another McDonald's All-American. Joins Selden and Ellis. It's 4 on the roster for KU next season. 2 minutes plus. Down the lane comes Jayhawks, but he travels.
Team USA, many opportunities here to build upon this lead, but little Euro step and the basket, but travel called.
14 turnovers in the game for Lithuania. Here's Vic. Moore, Lucas, Bragg, and Selden. They're 5 on the floor. Crossover, Selden, 21-footer off the back and then the front rim, and Yukstas snares the rebound. Here comes Lithuania with 1:45 to go. They still have yet to lead. They've come close. Head fake, Taralis tried the acrobatic move, but it won't go. And Moore with USA having the numbers and a whistle, and we've got a... Well, we got a turnover in the United States. It's going to call it travel, so that is a huge disappointing turn of events for Team USA, which had a 4-on-2 break.
Yeah, you can see Selden catches it on the wing. Now, this is something in international basketball. He really watched the travel. So he took a step and a half before the ball hit the floor. Another missed opportunity by Team USA to build upon the 4-point lead.
Selden coming out, and Jayhawks handling for Lithuania. Step back, 3-point shot, rims out. Lucas stabs the rebound, and an offensive foul called, and it looks like Lucas, who looks on in disbelief, is be called as the aggressor.
Well, Team USA, their defense has held him in this, and Lucas, a little shove off before he corrals the basketball. 4-point lead. They've had chances to build. Their defense has held while they have not been able to take advantage of opportunities at the offensive end.
Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman with you. 28th Summer Universiade. This is the quarterfinal. Team USA, Bill Self's team, taking on Lithuania, Dainius Adomaitis. One of these teams moving on to the semifinals tomorrow to play the winner of Russia-Estonia, which will take place after this game. The other can finish no better than 5th place.
If you're Bill Self, you're hoping your defense can continue to hold until your offense gets its footing again. Losing a little traction at the offensive end by Team USA.
Dombrowskis, the leading scorer in the first half, yet to score here in the second. And Dimsha ends the 3-point drought for the Lithuanians with his first field goal of the night. Lucas gets the entry. Motzkevicius, and then the help underneath by Taralis. Grabs it back, blocked again by Taralis. And boy, he's fired up. There he is, number 27 with the defense for the Lithuanians. A 1-point game.
Great effort here by Lucas. He gets the pin move, gathers himself, but blocked from behind, able to corral, but again blocked. As you see, Egidius Vuskovic in the middle of the fray.
And Lucas looking frustrated right now. Did not score the other game against Switzerland in his 13 minutes on the floor. And it'll be U.S. basketball as Mason will inbound, the slimmest lead since the U.S. went up by 12 in the first half. Here comes DeBose. Strip going up, but will draw the foul against Jayhawks.
DeBose with an excellent game against the Swiss. Now a chance to go to the free throw line for the senior, who is borrowed from Florida Gulf Coast for this tournament, as Devontae Graham from the University of Kansas went down with an injury during training camp.
DeBose 1 for 2 from the line at the tournament. That's his first point. Bill Self talking about how he had a pretty solid last game with 18 against Switzerland on 8 of 11 shooting. This past season for Florida Gulf Coast, averaging 11.5 points, 4 rebounds. Was 15th in the Atlantic Sun Conference in scoring.
Yeah, playing for a former Kansas assistant of Bill Self, Joe Dooley. So Bill Self made the phone call. He arrived at camp, knew the system, since Joe Dooley was running the same system as Bill Self, so he fit right into the rotation.
Joe Dooley, an assistant for Self for 10 years, including the national championship year in 2008. There's Selden watching from the sideline as the United States has but a 3-point lead. Motskevicius to Dombrowskis. There's Jayhawks into the lane, the right-hand floater, rims out Lucas. Falls into the stanchion just underneath the basket, and it's going to be out off of the United States.
Well, Lucas with a big body, he's been involved with a lot of contact inside. Vuskovic right behind him, but Lucas with the last touch.
Here's Tomas Dimsha, number 33, the outlet to Taralis over Ellis. Can't get it to go, and Lucas secures the rebound. The U.S. up by 3 with 8 seconds to go, and the shot clock is off. Here's Mason on Jayhawks. Ellis from 19. Comes up short. Rebound taken by Taralis. And that's how the third quarter comes to the end. The U.S. up by 3, 10 minutes to go from South Korea. We start the final quarter of play from South Korea. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman, Lithuania down 3 with the basketball. And Kovietis throwing it away to Moore. Moore and Ellis running shoulder to shoulder. It'll be Moore laying it in to give the U.S. a 5-point lead. This game is really playing out not too different from the Serbia game. Teams in the 40s coming into the fourth quarter, lower shooting numbers. And the U.S., which went from 23 points in the first quarter to only 8 in the third, Kevin.
Outstanding steal by Nick Moore. Thought he was going to get called for a foul, but able to hang in there. Easy 2 points. Make some offense out of your defense, Team USA.
Jayhawks, the 20-footer, comes up long. And here comes Mason into the front court. Mason working on Jayhawks, blows by the Lithuanian guard, puts it through and draws the foul.
Frank Mason, upper body strength, takes the bump, the bruise, and gets the basket.
Lucas and Motskevicius hog-tied underneath, creating that little lane for Mason to run right through. And the U.S., which saw their lead cut down to 1 in the third quarter, now back up to 7. Good line so far today for Mason.
5-0 run to start the fourth for Team USA as they were running in mud a bit in the third quarter. They outscored 12-8 by Lithuania, but good start here in the fourth.
And Wayne Selden Jr., who's been the punisher and the finisher, whatever you want to call him, whatever nickname you want to give him at these games, he has, for his standards set here, had a quiet night. Only 2 points in the second half, and we haven't seen him come on in a spurt yet. Possibly a good sign for the U.S.
He's had him in every game thus far, picked up those 2 early fouls, but now only with 2 fouls. Wayne Selden, look for him to do some damage at both ends of the court.
Lekavicius goes to Dimsha, 6 on the shot clock. Selden in defense. Dimsha having a tough time with it. Stripped by Moore again. More on Motzkevicius instead. This time shoots a 15-footer, buries it, and a timeout called. The U.S. back on top by 10 over the Lithuanians. 8:37 to go in the fourth. More after this. Adonis Stanimaitis, he was not a happy man at the timeout as his team has watched the U.S. score 9 in a row.
Well, Nick Moore with the guts of a cat burglar pulls that one out, and then he understands the pace and creates some space and buries it to give USA a 10-point lead.
Dombrowskis sent away by Ellis. Here comes the U.S. storming up the floor. Selden, and he travels. Same play we saw earlier, coming to the hoop and taking an extracurricular step.
As soon as he heard the whistle, Wayne Selden knew exactly what the call was. Didn't even look at the official. Got to get your feet down on the hardwood.
Dombrowskis tied up again. Lithuania pulled to within 43-42 in the third quarter. Since then, the U.S. has rattled off the last 9. Giedraitis, the scoop. Good defense from Lucas.
The defensive intensity by Team USA has picked up here in the fourth quarter. Lithuania having difficulties getting open shots.
U.S. ball out of bounds. They've got 4 of their 5 starters, with the exception being Lucas in place of Mickelson, who we have not seen a whole lot of here in the second half. Moore on the wing, trying another 3. This one comes up long. Ellis into the corner, can't hang on.
Nick Moore with a little heat check. So he'd been the spark plug for Team USA here in the fourth quarter.
Perry Ellis with 9 points, 7 of them, though, coming in that first quarter, which saw the U.S. score early and often, but only 8 in the third quarter. And now they've come rebounding here in the fourth so far. Here's Dombrowskis. 8 on the shot clock for Giedraitis. On the wing, the three-point shot at the horn by Kulvietis, but another rebound for Lithuania. Dombrowskis all alone. And the Lithuanians just 4 of 19 from three-point range.
Oh, we talked about the heat and humidity. The frontline depth of Team USA may be wearing into the Lithuanian team, but the guard play from Moore and Mason has been outstanding here in the second half.
Selden for 3. Oh, a big shot for Wayne Selden Jr.
Well, you called it, Danny. We're waiting for that big shot by Wayne, and we just saw it.
Biggest lead of the night for USA by 13. Wayne Selden Jr. with the three-pointer to put the U.S. up by 12. 13.
Ball screen by Landon Lucas. A little dribble bounce, square up by Wayne Selden Jr. Tickles the twine.
It's a 12-0 run for the United States to make it 55-42 from a 1-point game to a 13-point game. Can Lithuania end the dry spell? Yakstas against Lucas. Step back for Giedraitis from 20. And they're struggling mightily from the floor.
And Lithuania has had some open looks. As there are occasions where Team USA is tardy on the recovery. There's the chase down. Who got it last? There is no replay in this arena.
In the corner, Giedraitis, and a whistle away from play. Stepped on the baseline. So a turnover for the Lithuanians, and things going from bad to worse for Adonis Stanimaitis, who won a bronze medal at the 2000 Olympics playing for Lithuania in Sydney. Here's Mason. Drops it off to Lucas on the pick and roll. Ellis with authority.
Landon Lucas has seen his most minutes here in this game. And that young man from Portland, Oregon has delivered for Team USA.
Lekavicius. Over on the wing is Dombrowskis. Yakstas backing down Lucas, who's got a lot of playing time here in the second half. Giedraitis by Selden. And still Lithuania struggling from the floor, still looking for their first points of the quarter. And a foul against the Lithuanians.
Well, Danny, Wayne Selden has really locked up Giedraitis as you see this great shovel pass by Landon Lucas to Perry Ellis. And Ellis with the strong finish. There he is, the Big 12 first team all-conference player last season for KU.
Tough time of it for the Lithuanian Brain Trust. Their team has not scored, and a 14-0 run by the U.S., which turns it over on the Ellis travel.
Well, it's amazing that Team USA, with the amount of turnovers they've had just on the catch and not establishing a pivot foot, they are now up 15. They've got to close this out, Danny.
Akavicius, and another missed shot for the Lithuanians.
And another rebound for Lucas.
And Yakstas wraps him up, and just like that, it's the fourth foul against the Lithuanian squad.
Now, at some point, you're going to see some pressure from Lithuania. And here it comes.
We have
some straight man pressure.
Well, we've not heard from Paulius Dambrauskas in the half, the leading scorer for Lithuania. 11 points, has not scored in the second half.
Frank Mason may have had something to say about that.
Selden from 19. It goes long, and Lucas with another rebound. Ellis on the weak side. Tipped by DeBose. Oh, and nearly tipped in by Giedraitis, and then Yakstas fouls Lucas, going up, sending the U.S. back to the free throw line.
Well, Landon Lucas has put his gloves on and got in the ring here today. Lucas was rebounded at both ends. Takes the hammer, and now a chance to go to the free throw line.
That's 4 fouls on Yakstas. 5:07 to go. 57-42. So since Lithuania closed it to 43-42, they have not scored, including this entire quarter.
And you see the ball on the rim on that scrape down there. It is a live ball in international play on the rim, so it can be knocked out of the cylinder or knocked in the cylinder by the offensive team.
Lucas with a solid day for the United States today. 7 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Those were his first free throws of the tournament. Orlandas Yakstas, the 4 fouls, going to the sideline, replaced by Motskevicius back in from Evansville University.
We have talked all tournament about the frontline depth of KU as they bring in now a fresh Hunter Mickelson.
There must be a lid on the rim for Lithuania at this point. Cannot get anything. Dambrauskas finally able to put through his first points of the second half to give him 14. But it's a 14-point lead for the U.S. with only 4.5 minutes to go here in the fourth of this quarterfinal pairing. Ellis saves it to Moore. U.S. ball. 5 on the shot clock for Selden. Down the lane on Motskevicius and rolls it in.
Smooth as creamy peanut butter for number 1. Wayne Selden with the penetration.
He and Moore, or Mason rather, combining for 27 points here for the United States. Giedraitis.
Excellent defensive communication by Team USA.
Outlet to Kofietis. 3-pointer long.
And that one off Egidius Skavicius of Evansville.
Mason, the leading scorer for the United States with 14. Selden with 13. Nick Moore providing 7. A productive scoring day for the backcourt for the United States. Here comes Selden up the floor. Selden on the move. Motskevicius in defense. Mickelson back in, trying to go up on Dambrauskas. Loses the basketball. And Lithuania having trouble too. Motskevicius to Dimsha. 3-pointer. And we're going to get a technical foul called on Nick Moore. It's also the third foul against Moore.
Well, let's watch this, Danny, because I'm not sure what the call is. He did not touch the offensive player. Now the officials are explaining it.
I think Moore possibly said something that the referee, Nicholas Maestra, did not like.
Well, he flies by, then gets back into the play, but doesn't make any contact. Now Bill Self is asking Nick Moore, what happened?
And even the free throw's unpleasant for Lithuania, down 16. Giedraitis. It's a 15-2 run for the United States. Continuing, and Moore fouled in the backcourt as Matskevicius comes running by.
Team USA has flexed their muscles on the backboard, especially at the defensive end, as Lithuania has misfired time after time.
Matskevicius, an 11-point per game average coming in. He's just got 2 and 4 fouls now. So Nick Moore will go to the line, 1 for 2 from the line at the games. Has 8 points, 5 coming in the second half from Southern Methodist University, was the American Player of the Year. AP honorable mention, averaging 14.5 points, 5 assists per game, and leading the league at 89% free throw shooting too. US by 18.
Well, this is not what he expected after a run at the end of the second half by Lithuania. The Team USA has been excellent here in the fourth quarter.
Lithuania with just 2 points in the quarter. Dombrowskis an air ball 3, and that might be the nadir of the shooting woes for the Lithuanians. 4 of 24 from three-point range, shooting 29%.
And another rebound by Landon Lucas. And now we'll see Team USA go 1-4 flat, run the clock down.
Mason over Dimshaw. Excellent game for Mason, 16 points for the United States on a 19-2 run to lead by 20. .219 to go. Yeah, USA emboldened by the effort by Frank Mason III. 16 points, 7 of them coming after halftime, and the USA behind a strong defensive effort, burying the Lithuanians, turning a 1-point game into a 20-point game.
Started with the pressure of the two guards, Moore and Mason, in the fourth quarter. Easy baskets for Team USA as they built this 20-point lead.
And it's been done on the glass as well from Landon Lucas. 7 points, 7 rebounds, playing a lot of the second half of that 5 spot. Three-pointer rims out for Dimshaw. Nothing new there. Here's Giedraitis. Oh, and another miss.
And he hangs his head as he had an excellent look on that one. Plenty of time to set. Still talking to himself as he runs up court.
And to Lithuania's credit, a lot of those shots have been open. They just can't hit them. And it will cost them here.
Part of that is the constant defensive pressure by Team USA, and Bill Self doing an excellent job of rotating bodies in, keeping fresh legs and those wearing the white jersey, and it just wore down Lithuania. Therefore, those 3 balls aren't as easy in the fourth quarter. His legs get a little rubbery.
Selden, the leading scorer in this tournament, still having a tough time at the line. 13 points today. He and Mason combining for 29.
We talked about a big game out of Perry Ellis. Perry Ellis with 11 for Team USA.
And the U.S. controlling the glass. They're +5, out rebounding Lithuania. Mason coming to the hoop, and he's fouled by Rolandas Jakstas. That's his 5th foul, so Jakstas fouling out, scoring 6 points all in the first half. And Lithuania, not a whole lot to talk about as far as offense after the halfway point.
Egidius Uskakavicius reports back in for Lithuanian team. We talked about Egidius plays in the Missouri Valley Conference for Evansville Purple Aces, and Coach Marty Simmons.
And the shot rattles home for Mason, who now has 17. Yeah, when you look at the scoring effort for the Lithuanians, you had Giedritis coming in as the scoring leader, has only 8, none in the second half. Taralis with 12. It's the second leading scorer coming in, has only 3. And Matskavicius coming in at 11 points per game, only 2. And Lithuania, as we continue to repeat, unbelievably, only 2 points in the fourth quarter, getting outscored 21-2. Tyler Self and Evan Manning coming on, the walk-ons for Team USA, but also the sons of a couple of Division I basketball coaches. Manning, the son of Danny Manning, the great in his own right, both in college and an NBA career, and Tyler Self, who's son of Coach Bill Self. Bragg rattles home the 21-footer for his first points of the game. So it was a close game going into the fourth quarter. Has turned into a rout. Just 1 minute to go, and the U.S. moving on to the semifinals for the first time at the World University Games since the 2009 team won bronze in Serbia.
Muskakovic's strong post-up on the switch and buried Evan Manning. But that's a great point, Danny. How about your 2 walk-ons are sons of head coaches? Those are some pretty smart guys to run your scout team. Tyler Self and Evan Manning.
Dombrowskis, and not even that will fall for him. Boy, you look at the Lithuanians' body language, what a dispiriting second half. They outscored the United States, holding them to only 8 points in the third period, 12-8. But here in the fourth, Lithuania is still sitting on only 2 points. Dombrowskis bucket in the quarter, the only 2 from Lithuania. 8 on the shot clock. Vic's got a second to get it across. Just does, and takes it all the way and hammers home the exclamation point.
Bill Self has talked about that young man, LaGerald Vick, going to be a freshman for KU. How talented he is offensively. Big-time score coming out of Douglas High School in Memphis.
The U.S. will have to shoot one more time with 3 seconds separating the shot and game clock, but they're on their way to the semifinals. Vic denied by Matskavicius. Here comes Dombrowskis, wrapped up by Self, and with 10.1 seconds to go, that's the 3rd foul against USA.
And Tyler Self, there's climbing the ladder, the freshman, LaGerald Vick, throws it down with authority.
Dombrowskis did not score in the second half until this period. Scored all 4 of Lithuania's points in the fourth quarter and has make that now 16 points and rolls it in to make him 17. But Dinas Adomaitis saw his team come back in that third period, pull to within 1, and then the United States ran them out of the gym here in the fourth. And with 7 seconds to go, Manning will skip it ahead to Bragg, and that will spell an end to this game. So Lithuania goes down 70-48, a period which the United States outscored the Lithuanians 25-6, and what was a 1-point game at 43-42. The U.S. outscored them the rest of the way 28-6, and Dinas Adomaitis' team can play for no better than 5th place at another World University Games after finishing 5th in Kazan. But the U.S. moving on to the semifinals for the first time in 6 years.
And we've seen this team improve game by game. Obviously, their best performance tonight against this team from Lithuania. Their defense really set the standard, led by Mason and Moore. And big lift off the bench by Landon Lucas on the backboards.
Mason with 18, Selden with 13, Ellis had 11, doing a lot of his work in that first half of play. And you mentioned Landon Lucas, 7 points, 9 boards, playing a lot in that second half of play. So that'll do it. The United States wins 70-48 over Lithuania. They will play the winner of Russia-Estonia coming up right here at Dong Kong College Gymnasium right after this game. For Kevin Lehman and our fantastic crew, our producer Sean Christensen, and a special thanks to Scott Olseth. This is Danny Lee saying so long, and I'll talk to you next time from South Korea.